Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Ryan here. Today I wanted to talk about a report that came out recently, backstage news on the frustration from the main roster about NXT. I'm just going to go right into the report first. Brian Alvarez commented on his radio show about frustration from people on the main roster after NXT shows. Some of the frustration stems from the fact that the main roster talent are not given the freedom to have the types of matches that the talent gets at NXT. The same goes for promos. Overall, the NXT product feels more real and like a sport than the main roster. So Dave Meltzer also confirmed that there is frustration from the main roster and wrote the following on the Wrestling Observer newsletter board, saying he was getting direct messages and stuff. I'm not going to read the whole article. I'll provide a link in the description if you want to check all of that out. But I kind of want to talk about what we can take away from this. So obviously the WWE main roster, they're seeing how amazing these NXT special shows are, all the buzz that they're getting. And you know, you can't really blame them for being frustrated because NXT's killing it because they get to do what they want to do. It feels more natural. And granted, there's a lot of things that NXT has on their side for that to happen. And that's including not having to be on a major cable network every single week and have to worry about investors and things like that and ratings. That's not an issue for NXT, so they are kind of this they can really do no wrong because they can flip things at the drop of a hat, and it's not a big deal. They can drop storylines and stuff, and Raw does this all the time, but they have to pay for it. NXT is kind of an environment where they can really do whatever they want because at the end of the day, they still technically are developmental. But maybe there's something that the main roster that they can learn. Maybe there's something that WWE can do for the main roster where they can take some elements of NXT to implement that into Raw, such as maybe giving these guys more freedom. Yes, is it taking a risk with, investors and stuff, not wanting to see, any major risks being taken or anything like that. But maybe if these performers were given the freedom similar to NXT, that they would be having better matches, thus they would be more into their characters and not being overproduced. I mean, a guy like Roman Reigns could be a much more successful babyface if he was maybe left more to his own devices. We don't really know because we've seen Raw scripts leak before, and we know how heavily scripted a lot of these guys are, down to every single word, to the point where, all these characters do really feel forced sometimes, as opposed to NXT, which really comes off as organic and natural. So maybe if these guys were given that freedom, that it would show through in their characters, it would show through in their matches. Raw would be, can't miss TV every single week, and then, everything's great. But, I'm sure that's, a little too simple of an answer. But I think you get my point that maybe something can be learned from this, because now if the main roster is frustrated and NXT is outperforming them, how's that going to show through in their work? Maybe this at least motivates them to want to outperform NXT, but at the same time, they have so many restrictions put on them, especially the women. You see the matches in NXT versus the matches on Raw with women, the Divas division. It is completely night and day, where, on NXT, it's basically a main event. It's one of the main events. And then it's a filler match. It's a match to cool down the crowd on Raw. So there's a lot of problems going on, and I think a real feud is basically going to maybe take place between NXT and Raw and SmackDown. We'll have to see how that goes. But I want to hear you guys' thoughts. Read the article. It's going to be in the description, like I said. And, what can we take away from this? What are your thoughts after reading this? And what can maybe be done to kind of reach a compromise where Raw can take elements from NXT, maybe NXT takes elements from Raw, but I don't think they really need it right now. I think they're doing pretty good. So it's more like, what can Raw take away from NXT to make it a better show? So let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if I can actually talk, and I'll see you guys next time.